You're not in this one.
Hi.
We have to be very close. Just sit like this for an hour.
Yes.
Like we like each other. Oh, my mom's here. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
So, we're gonna have to do a mic check. So if you can hear us, let us know because we're on two phones, one mic, two mic setups, a lot of flies.
This is nice.
Mm-hmm. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Grandpa's here too.
Hi.
I haven't seen your mother yet. My mom can hear. Ooh, from Athens. Hello to Athens. Good, so people are jumping on. Well, it's Tipsy Tuesday, and I have a guest this week.
That's
So,
me.
It's Amelia, my kid. So I thought it would be fun to have her join us because a lot of people ask, hi Judy, a lot of people ask kid stuff like how are the kids adjusting, what do they think about Rome? So, I mean, I know how to answer, but probably better to hear it from the source. And so, just so you know, our setup here. So we have two phones. One is live on Instagram, one is live on Facebook. And we have the mic set up. So it's my usual ridiculous setup that I have. Except this time it's two iPhones instead of an iPad and an iPhone. So we don't look as silly, but we actually do kind of look silly because I wanted to raise the cameras up. And so the restaurant gave us a wine box. And so we're in this restaurant. There's really nobody here yet because it's early.
Oh, there will be.
There will be. So I have a big wine box with the phones on a tripod standing up on them with microphones coming out of them. But we are at one of our favorite restaurants, Polese. It's just a short walk from our home. It's very popular with seminarians because the North American College is just up the hill from here. So it's not uncommon to look, Michael says I don't look tipsy. We just got the drinks. Give us time.
Drinks.
So it's not uncommon to see a lot of Americans here, but it's not a touristy spot. It's just popular with local seminarians and local priests. We're here all the time. Great pizza, great pastas, great family runs the place, the Polese family. And so we thought it'd be fun to come here instead of me taking her to a bar. So I am having an Aperol Spritz. Again, I've had a lot of these lately. What are you having?
I'm having a Fanta.
A Fanta with ice. Show them the ice. Show them they brought us a whole...
They gave us a bucket of ice.
A bucket. Look at this. Like if you've ever been to Rome, you know that ice is rare. So they gave us a whole bucket of ice. And I said, don't bring out any food because we're not going to eat while we're talking because that would be weird. But they brought us out all this food too. So we have like pizza and crackers and stuff, which we're not going to eat until we're done. So it'll be cold by then. I guess crackers are always cold.
That's true.
Yes, Michael, this is the place that I brought you. Hi, honey. You see Honey Joe here. So let's get into it. Cheers.
Great.
Oh, I always tell you what the Aperol Spritz is because if you didn't already know. So the Aperol is, it's a drink, like a before dinner drink. And you can find bottles of that in liquor stores all over the States. So it's not uncommon. And then they add Prosecco and a little touch of seltzer water or bubbly water. And an orange slice, you can see. It's very pretty, very traditional Roman drink. So if you ever are walking around Italy in the evening, you'll see a lot of people drinking these bright orange drinks, or one that's slightly redder, which is a Negroni. And then the Fanta, I'll let Amelia talk in a minute. The Fanta, so if you've ever had Fanta in the States, you know that it's closer to this color, really. But they don't use a lot of the same artificial colorings here in Italy. And so this is the color of Fanta. And Gatorade is the same. Like the Gatorade bottles. If you buy Gatorade, it comes in like a red colored plastic bottle, but the inside, the actual Gatorade, is more of a clearish color.
Yes.
Schooling everybody on Gatorade and Fanta. That's why you're here.
It's important stuff.
Yeah, so what was I going to say? Oh, the update, virus update, because everybody always wants the update. So if you watch the news back home, you hear that there's kind of a second wave happening in Europe. It's really not that bad in Italy. Italy is still doing better than pretty much any country in Europe. So some places are doing a lot worse. So our numbers are definitely going up. We're having lately like 1,000 new cases a day. I think today's 1,300. And yeah, so it's going up, but it's not extreme at all compared to what it was. There's no talk right now of another lockdown or any other restrictions. The deaths are way down, so I don't know if the virus has kind of mutated and it's not as severe. So I think today we had 14 deaths. You know, in the peak of everything, we were having hundreds a day, so it's not that bad. Everything's open, schools are open, churches are open, museums are open. So it's pretty normal. You see people walking around with masks. I posted a video, what's today? Today's Tuesday. On Sunday, after the audience of a lot of people leaving the papal audience, and it was the biggest crowd I had seen since all this started. And so I mentioned that was kind of comforting to see, because it's nice to see people back, and also kind of scary just because it's been so long since I've seen big crowds. Not that I'm afraid, but just it was different. So today we're going to focus on kid stuff, because people want to know what it's like being a kid in Rome.
Oh, it's nice. I don't know.
Good. We didn't rehearse at all, so it's nice. I don't know.
Oh, I like it.
So it's different than the States. It's a lot different. So one thing that we talk about a lot, like when we have people in town and we go to dinner or whatever, is the scouting program here. You're a scout?
Yes, I am.
And scouts here, they're mixed, right?
Yeah, there's boys and girls together. A lot of people seem to be surprised by that.
Yeah, a lot.
That's how it is.
Not like that in the States, but here it's not the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts. It's just Scouts. Although everybody calls it Boy Scouts.
No, we hate when people say
I know
that.
you hate it, but like even Italians say, "Oh, Boy Scouts," even though it's boys and girls. I don't know why. People are asking about the restaurant. Again, it's Polese, so one of our favorite restaurants in Rome, right down the street from the Vatican. The river is a couple blocks away. And we're here all the time. So, the scouting program, yeah, it's boys and girls, and they give the kids a lot of independence. So we were just talking about, on the way over, how you guys plan your scout outings. Do you want to tell them?
Yeah, so about twice a year, they let us organize our camping trips on our own. So we have a texting group, and we decide what we want to do, what kind of activities, what time we want to get there, and then we tell the leaders, and they just let us do it. So.
Yeah, so they give a lot of freedom to the kids. Like they're just saying, let's go. Like was it a year ago you went to Orvieto?
Yeah, that was last week.
Yeah, so they just decided they were going to go to Orvieto. It's like an hour train ride from Rome. They put the itinerary together. We're going to go here. We're going to do this. What did you do? You did...
we painted pottery.
Yes, they just found a pottery class. They did that. They figured out where they were going to stay. Was it a scouting church or something?
No, we stayed at one of the kids' grandmother's
grandma's
house. Yeah. She made good food.
And so who was the oldest?
She was 15 at the time. She was my
Not
age.
the grandma, but the kid.
Yeah, she was.
yeah.
She was my age.
So you have kids, were there like 6 of you or something?
Yeah, I think so.
6 kids. They just text each other and say all right, let's go to Orvieto. We're going to stay at my grandma's house, and we're going to do pottery. And then they plan it all, take it to the leaders. And leaders say, okay, you can do this. And then they go alone, right? So 15-year-old, 14-year-old kids.
Up to down to 11 years old sometimes.
Down to 11 years old. And they just go to the train station, they buy their tickets,
And we leave.
take an hour train ride away, walk around. And I guess the one kid had been there since her grandma was there. You've been there.
We're not allowed to use our phones either.
Not, oh yeah, that's right.
We can't even, only one of us can have a phone and she can't use it.
Yeah, so they make them put their phones in like a bag or something?
Yeah,
It's
in
like,
in an envelope.
In an envelope,
if
right?
If they find it open, they know, and they aren't very happy if that happens. So.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's crazy. Like, that would never fly in America. And so when we tell people that, it's like, oh, yeah, our 15-year-old is out with a couple 11-year-olds and they're in another city. They're like, what? No adults? But yeah, so they give the kids all this freedom and independence. And when they go to these different towns, everybody knows the scouts and they're welcoming.
Yeah.
It terrifies us as parents. Well, we're better with it now, but the first year, how old were you?
Used to it.
When you started Scouts, you were...
Well, the first year I had to do that, I was like 12, I think. So.
Yeah, so our 12-year-old was going off with,
Poor things.
I guess, a 14 or 15-year-old and a couple other girls. Oh, I should say, when they do this, when they break into their small groups, they do it by gender, right?
Yeah, when we're in the smaller,
So it's
the
not
smaller,
boys and
the
girls.
smaller groups are by gender, but we do most of the activities together.
Yeah, so when they go off, like, overnight
And when
alone,
we're sleeping in tents and stuff like that.
and yes, Honey Joe, they have Scout uniforms that they wear, and it's a great program. We love it. Oh, I should also mention it's run by the church, so it's not like our Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. It's a Catholic organization.
You have
They
to be
meet
Catholic.
you have to be Catholic. They meet at the church. They do stuff at the church. Her first big camping trip. It was a 1 week in where'd you go?
I went near CC that time.
Right. What did they do? They made you do something that I thought was really cool.
Oh, I don't remember what it
They
did.
made you offer up.
Oh yeah, it was like 5 years ago. I forgot. They like had us. They gave us the option to offer up one of our meals, so that we didn't get like a fancy meal with like 3 courses of pasta and stuff, and we just like ate a sandwich instead, and like an apple.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool though that they would take these kids near Assisi and they wanted to teach them about fasting and even poverty.
St. Francis.
St. Francis. And so they had them offer up a meal one day, and they didn't like tell anybody, so they were like discreet about it.
Yeah,
Like,
they
you
didn't. They didn't force us to. They just like gave us a sheet. They're like, if you want, you can sign up, and we'll give you a smaller lunch.
So I thought that was really cool, and we love the Scout program. Speaking of lunches, I want to tell the story about your first summer program.
Okay.
When we first moved over.
Oh yeah.
So when we first moved over, we wanted to get the kids involved in some Italian stuff. And so there's a public school not far from where we lived, and they had like a summer program where they would allow kids to, like, it was like a day camp.
Yeah, we just like played and stuff. We didn't.
You would swim.
Yeah, that was fun.
And when we first signed them up, they said, what did they say? They said, like, you can either pack a lunch for the kids, Tipsy table. You can either pack a lunch for the kids, or you can buy a lunch through us. But it'd be like a light lunch. And so we're like, oh, okay, we'll just pack a light lunch. And, you know, we're Americans, and so we're thinking, like, it's peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's a nice light lunch.
Wow.
And so for the 2 kids, we pack peanut butter and jelly sandwich and, I don't know, maybe something else, but send them on their way, drop them off. And then I went to pick them up. And when I got there, the lady that was in charge, she came out and greeted me like privately. And she had in her hands 2 little baggies of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And they're like, we fed your children. We didn't give them these. And I was like, oh, okay.
They were so terrified when they saw those things.
They were scandalized by the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and why would someone feed their kid this?
How could you give a kid so much sugar? What is this garbage?
Yeah, so we felt humiliated. But it turns out like their light lunch was like 3 courses. There's like a pasta and a meat and a dessert.
That's Italians for you.
That's an Italian light lunch. So we learned our lesson there. And then we let them buy the lunch the rest of the time. Tell them about the food at the Scouts, because that's another thing that just fascinates people. Yeah, like when you go camping, what do you do?
Yeah, whenever we go camping, a lot of times we cook our own food. So there was this one camping trip that he is very impressed by, that we had to like light a fire, you know, the normal stuff, and we had a whole fish, and so we just cooked the fish over a fire.
Yeah, fresh fish. They just put a stick through it, put it in the ground,
and then deboned and ate it.
But that's not all. Like they bring, like Italians, you know, food is very important. So they bring
Spice plants, pasta makers.
They bring fresh spice, like fresh basil, fresh sage. They make ravioli, and they bring all this fancy pasta. Amanda says hi.
Hi.
And so it's not like, I was never a Boy Scout, so I don't know, but it wasn't like, I don't know, beanie weenies or something, like whatever people eat. They're like for real.
That sounds gross.
I was like a can of beanies with little hot dogs in it. I bet Italian kids would love it, actually. But they go all out on the food, so they take it seriously. And then you were telling me on the way over about the thing you dissected.
Oh, yeah. Once the leaders forced us to cook quails.
Yeah, so a scouting trip where they
Yeah.
get some fresh quail and tear their hearts and brains out
We
and then
weren't
cook
very
them.
happy about it, and half of us decided we didn't want to eat it, so they just dissected it instead on my sleeping mat.
It's still stained.
It's still stained to this day.
Another scouting story that I love is so you have these kids, they go camping, and this is when they do their big trip, which is like 1 or 2 weeks, and they have to build platforms for their tents.
Yeah.
Talk
What do you
about
want me to tell them about it?
Tell
what
them
they
about
are. We have this construction thing, and I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a platform that's basically 4 meters off the ground. That's like
It's to protect
8
them from
feet,
the
you know?
bears.
That's what they say, but bears can climb, so it's really just to make us not have to do any games for 3 days. That's probably what it is. But it's like this thing that's like 8 feet off the ground or something like that, and it takes us 3 days to construct it. Then we put the tent on top of it. There's like boards. We put the tent on top of it,
Kids are doing this.
and then we sleep there.
Like, how old were you when you started doing that?
I was 12.
That was 12?
Yeah.
So the adults aren't putting these together. They're like these big sticks, like pieces
Heavy.
of trees. Yeah,
Heavy logs.
big logs. And they put them up like 10 feet in the air or something.
Less than that, probably 8.
8
7
feet in
or
the air?
8 or something like that.
And then that's where the kids sleep. And like, if they fall, they fall.
Hey, it's really comfortable.
And it happened.
Oh, yeah, we've broken one before, and I was on top. It was not very fun.
So another thing that probably wouldn't fly in the States, letting kids put these dangerous contraptions together and sleep in them. But again, they're learning independence and they're learning to fail, and I love it. So I'm very proud of you for that.
Thank you. I don't have to do it anymore, though.
No, so, okay, I've seen a lot of Italian questions. Do you speak Italian?
Yes, I do.
Do you speak Roman?
Yeah, I like to think I do.
So Amelia speaks more Roman than Italian,
Not
so
a big difference. You just drop a few words. It's basically slang of Italian. That's how Romans talk. So that's how I talk.
yeah. And she learned it by like total immersion. So so Lily, she's younger, so she didn't start Scouts at the same time. But Amelia went in, and it's 100% Italian. So, like, people are telling her how to build a tent structure in Italian, so she had to figure it out. And so that's really the best way to learn.
Yeah.
But we did have her do Duolingo for a while.
That helped a bit.
Kind of gave her the basics. But then she started explaining that it wasn't
Yeah.
slangy enough.
Well, once I started learning Italian, Duolingo was just not as it wasn't advanced enough in the end. I had already skipped too much of it, so I just stopped doing it.
Yeah, but that's really the best way to learn, is just total immersion. If you can do it. Not everyone can move to Italy and learn Italian.
We did.
Yeah. Yeah, so when we moved over, I've shared the story a couple weeks ago about how we just picked up and left, no plans. I mean, I work here, but no plans to like where we were going to live really and what we were going to do. And so, the kids were young, but it was really nice to like see everything through their eyes. So like, Emil, you came to Rome when you were how old? 3? First time?
Yeah, 3.
So a lot of people ask me like, how old is too old, or no, how young is too young to bring kids to Europe? And I tell them like any age. I've had people that brought their newborns, all the way up through, well, to like 90 something years old. And so as far as when kids travel, I think it's great to experience things through their eyes. So when we brought Amelia, when she was 3, we gave her a camera and she went around taking pictures. And I mean, you remember some of it.
Yeah, I took a picture of a random guy playing accordion, I know that.
Do you remember what your favorite part was back then?
Prefer not to mention that.
David's butt. Michelangelo in Florence.
You're mean.
David's butt. That was her favorite part.
I was 3, okay?
She was 3. So, like, if you bring a kid to Italy that's 3 years old, they might not remember everything, but it's really about the experience the parents have, witnessing everything through the kids' eyes. And so I encourage people to travel with kids. And it also really comes in handy. So when we first moved over, we went to a lot of papal events. And it's funny, right after we moved over, my parents came. I remember they brought Gigi.
Yes.
They brought the dog.
The dog.
And so we met them in Paris, and France, they love dogs. They're okay with kids, but they love dogs. So everywhere we went, everybody would greet the dog first and bring the dog into the restaurant, and they'd have bowls for the dog. They bring food for the dog. But in Italy, they love dogs too, but they love kids. Not like her, she's 15 now, so
When I was
you're too old now.
I know.
But when we first moved over, like, we could get anything we wanted. We got into private papal events. The kids met the Pope a few times. If there was when we went to Santa Savina, remember that? Ash Wednesday?
Oh, I did something that day, didn't
You just looked cute.
yeah.
So for Ash Wednesday, right after we moved over, we went to Santa Savina. That's where the Pope always traditionally starts Ash Wednesday. It's a small church. It holds maybe 500 people or something. So really tiny, and it's hard to get a ticket for that. But we went without a ticket, and we got kind of up on the rail outside, and the security, they would come by and they would look at Amelia, like, oh, look at the cute kid. Like a bishop would walk by. Do you remember the bishop to talk to?
The cardinal?
Nope, bishop.
Oh, there's another one?
Zuppi.
Oh, I don't.
Remember Zuppi?
I don't.
You were laughing about his name?
Oh, I was. Oh, that was so mean.
It's soup, right? It's like,
Well, no, not really.
it sounded like soup to us.
It does sound like that, but
And so, so we didn't have a ticket. We're standing on the rail right before the mass starts because I had a cute little kid. They brought us in, and we ended up we were sitting with the bishops. So they didn't have seats for like the regular people with tickets because it was completely booked. But we ended up like sitting with bishops for a mass.
pretty much, yeah.
And that happened all the time. There was another time we went to, we were at St. Peter's, and we ended up in this mass with Cardinal Burke for the family of Pius the 12th. Like, it was Pius the 12th's family. Ambulance going by. It was this private mass for Pius the 12th's family, and Cardinal Burke was doing it, and we just happened to be like near the family when they were going in. They're like, "Oh, hey, you want to go to mass?" And so Lily, Amelia, and I got to go to mass with Cardinal Burke and the family of Pius XII. So it's good to travel with kids.
Yeah. Kids are very helpful.
So I've seen some, usually when I do this, we tell stories and then I answer questions. But I saw some questions about school. So Amelia and Lily are homeschooled. Christina's their teacher. And so they've been homeschooled. We started doing that right before we moved to Rome. But I know a lot of people are interested in what the schools are like right now. So why don't you tell them what schools are like for your friends?
Okay. Well, from what I've heard, most of the schools are doing schools. Some of them are doing like half and half. So like they'll divide classes in half, and then 1 week, one school. 1 week, half the class will go to school, and the other half will watch online, and then the next week they switch places. That's how most places are doing it right now. And it's like that indefinitely for now. They don't know if they'll ever be able to fix that. So.
Yeah, and also, I thought this was kind of funny, but like single person desks aren't really a thing, at least in like the high school.
No. It's all desk mates. They like sit together. At least 2 people in the same desks all the time.
And so when they were reopening, because of all the distancing requirements, they needed single person desks. And so
they were so excited about it.
Yeah, apparently these desks cost like €300 or something, and they're on wheels.
Yeah, they're on wheels.
And so the kids were excited because they could like race the desks or something.
Yeah, they were excited to ride in their desks down the hallways.
But that's something I never even thought about, like that the schools here, they have shared tables instead of individual desks. What else?
What else?
About school? Anything else about school?
I know there's one school that has some grades that aren't going to school at all this year so far. Like there's only like 2 grades out of 5 that are actually going to school. The rest are online. But that's
what
the only
else
school
about the
for
school that I want to say?
Huh.
High schools. Tell them about high schools.
What about it?
That they have like vocational high schools.
So here in Italy, you get to, once you get out of middle school, you get to choose like what kind of high school that you'd like to go to. And there's all kinds of different ones. There's like the classic high school, there's artistic high school, high school where you learn a bunch of languages and stuff.
And they start in 8th grade?
Yeah, 8th grade.
8th grade. So like in 8th grade, you're kind of deciding your path in life. So, hi Crystal. So you're deciding like what you want to do. Do you want to focus on language or art or sport? There's like a sports school, right?
Yeah, I think that exists.
Like that are...
I think that exists. I'm not positive.
I thought that's where Kajal went, no?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. But anyway, I thought that was really cool because you can kind of focus on your passions, even though it'll probably change 100 times before you... That's it. I got a second drink. But it's nice that they kind of focus on the kids' strength and put them in that direction. So you have friends that are learning all kinds of languages.
Yeah.
Most of your friends are in language or psychology, right?
Yeah, I have a few friends in psychology, maybe 1 or 2, a few in language, and then a bunch in classical school. But even the classical school I heard is the hardest because they make you learn Greek and go to school on Saturdays.
Yeah, the kids go to school. Some of them go to school on Saturdays here.
No.
So it's a lot different than in the U.S. I see some homeschooling questions. So when we started homeschooling, we started using the Colby Academy curriculum. But like most homeschoolers, I say we, I didn't do anything. We as a family, I guess, started doing like mixed match stuff. So that's one of the great things about homeschooling is that if she's really good at learning math one way, she can follow a certain type of curriculum. And if Lily's good at learning math another way, she can follow that type of curriculum. But poor Christina has to figure out both ways. And so a lot of her nights are her staying up, relearning like Algebra 2 now. And she was like an honors student growing up, but man, that was a long time ago. You don't use algebra once you're out of high school.
Oh, I'm planning on forgetting it as soon as I graduate.
So, yeah, we use a lot of different texts for the schooling. Where are we? So, what's been your favorite thing about living in Rome? I talk all the time about, like, for me, it's the churches, it's the feast days, it's the history, being right outside, and the food.
Okay, I guess I would say I like that you can like walk everywhere here. Like you don't have to drive anywhere. Like you can just walk.
Yeah, we don't have a car.
That's fun.
We sold our cars when we moved over.
Yeah. I also like churches, obviously, and food.
Coffee.
Food's awesome. Oh yeah, coffee. I forgot to mention that. Coffee's good.
Amelia's very much into coffee culture.
I love coffee.
Yeah. We're actually going to do a coffee class soon, part of homeschooling. One of the cafes here is going to teach the kids how to do coffee. So again, we're at Polese, one of our favorite restaurants. It's right on a busy street, so that's why you hear some traffic noise. And it's starting to fill up, I guess. But it's still kind of early. It's only 7:30. So I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Like Italians eat a lot later than Americans, and that was difficult for us when we moved over because back in the States we would have dinner every night at like 6 o'clock, and then when we moved over, a lot of restaurants don't open until 7:30, and so we got here right before 7, so there's only like one other table with anybody. But now it's starting to fill up. The people started arriving even at like 9 o'clock at night. Let's see. I'm going to scroll through some of the questions and see what you have for us. Do you have any stories to share?
Not at the moment.
Come on.
Oh, I can't just randomly come up with stuff.
You talk all the time.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Let's see. So I'm scrolling through. Give me a minute. Yes, we were all born in the U.S. So we're all from Atlanta, Georgia. My wife's from Tampa. But we moved over just six years ago. Judy, all of Amelia's friends are Italian.
Yes.
She has a few that she stays in touch with, like texting, but
Yeah, a few from online stuff, but mostly Italian.
yes, we're at Polese. Let's see. Amelia, what do you want to do when you graduate?
I want to take his job.
She wants to do what I do. So that's why her Instagram account is the Catholic Traveler Junior.
Yeah, that's me.
In fact, when I have my day tours, when they have kids on them, a lot of times Amelia and Lily are invited to come out so that the families can let their children experience Rome from a kid's perspective. Amelia knows a lot. So well, it's true.
Yeah,
Even like after we first moved over, she's a big reader, and when we first moved over, we were in this church. I think it was San Giovanni Paolo, near the Colosseum, and there was a painting, and I didn't recognize it, and she's like, "Oh, that's Saint
Gemma. No, Saint Gemma.
Saint Gemma."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Who?" And she's like, "Oh, Saint Gemma." And she said, "You can tell because blah 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 blah." And she does that like all the time. Like, "Oh, that's so and so because of this and this." I mean, I should know this stuff too, but
Probably should.
Is this a cafe? No, this is a restaurant. So this is a restaurant near our house. I think it's like a 10-minute walk. Do I wish we were back in the U.S.? No. I miss my parents and, some of my friends, but that's about it. I don't really miss much else about living in the U.S. Some of the conveniences, I guess. You?
No.
Amelia is
I love
fine
Italy. I
staying
love Italy so much.
in Rome forever. Okay. Oh, Father Idler is here. I wonder if he's still watching. So Father Idler is one of the reasons I started the Catholic Traveler. So I came to Rome. I've told this story before, but since he's watching, I'll tell it again. I came to Rome for the first time in 1999 with a good friend of mine, Father Augustine Tron, and it was my first time out of the country. And just one day he came up to me and said, "Hey, you want to go to Italy?" And I was like, "Okay." I never had any desire to go to Europe, other than like I was very much into like the Cure and the Smiths and Morrissey, so I kind of wanted to go to the UK, but Italy, I didn't. Italy's just a bunch of old stuff. But he invited me, and I was like, all right, sure. And so we came to Rome, and when we landed at the airport, we met we met one of his friends, Father Idler, and one of Father Idler's friend, Father Kuehl, and we shared a taxi with them into the city. And we stopped at Borgo Pio, like at the top of Borgo Pio, because they knew that where we were staying wouldn't be open yet, because they lived here, they all went to school at the NAC. And so like my very first experience in Italy was stepping out of a taxi, stepping onto cobblestone, on Borgo Pio. The bells of St. Peter were ringing, because it's right next door. And there was like a nun walking down the street. I'm hanging out with 3 priests. And I just fell in love with Rome. And then over the next week, we were here for diaconate ordination for the North American College, which was presided over by, what's that guy's name? Cardinal Ratzinger. Oh my goodness. Maybe I shouldn't have ordered a second. Cardinal Ratzinger. You might know him as Pope Benedict. And it was just an awesome trip. And we traveled to Loreto and Assisi and Florence. I don't think Father Idler was there for Florence, but he was there for Loreto and Assisi and Rome. And between Father Augustine and Father Idler, like giving me all the history, like, oh, this saint lived here and this happened here. And by the way, here's part of the true cross. Like, I was like, whoa, Rome is like a cool place. And so it was because of Father Augustine and Father Idler that I fell in love with Rome. And so when I got home, just a few weeks later, I quit my job and bought a one-way ticket back to Italy. So if you see him, he's on which phone? He's on the Facebook phone.
Yeah.
Peter Idler. You can thank him if you're thankful that I started the Catholic Traveler, because he played a big role in that. Did you know that story? You knew that story. Oh, a cool thing about that story is that, so when we got to Borgo Pio and had coffee, we now live like a block away from that cafe. It's pretty cool. Who would have thought? I had no idea. Kathleen is asking if we had citizenship here. No. Nope. We're American citizens. Are children political?
Yes.
Yes.
They like to argue about politics. I don't take part in it. I don't understand it. So
Italians love to protest.
it's their favorite thing in life, probably.
They actually, don't they get out of school for some
Yeah,
protests?
I think they can get out of school for protests. I think that's actually allowed.
It's like an approved absence.
I'm not sure. I think they can.
Yeah. What do they think of Americans? What do your friends think of Americans?
I don't know. They would never say anything bad about American if I was around. So I don't know.
They are impressed with American food.
That's true. They love American
Like,
food.
you have how many different kinds of Oreos?
They love American food. That's true.
American junk food. American junk food. Judy is asking, do the kids still have music lessons with their grandfather? Tell them about the music lessons.
What about, oh, I'm doing, okay, well, I was asked to teach guitar at my church. And let's just say I said yes. So that's starting in like a month, I think. I don't know, October.
So, proud grandpa moment, I'm sure.
I'll be teaching like kids. I think they'll be like maybe, I don't know how old they'll be. Maybe like middle schoolers or something. I'll be teaching them guitar all year, every week.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So my dad taught Amelia guitar, and now Amelia is going to be teaching other kids guitar.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So.
Do you play any other instruments?
I play ukulele, and I'd like to learn more. But
What?
I'd like to ukulele.
What would you say after that? Oh, you'd like to learn more.
I'd like to learn more.
Oh, I thought you said some weird instrument I'd never heard of.
No, I said I'd like to learn more.
Maybe I should have stuck with the Phantom.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay, I'm looking for more questions. So back to like virus updates. So I think Italy will be open by April. I hope so. When the virus first started, the quarantine first started for us, I thought like by spring it would be better. I think right away I said like Easter's canceled this year. I meant like Easter masses, of course, for the public. But I thought that like after that things would get better. So I am shocked that it's still going on. I mean, I get it, I guess, but yeah, I wasn't expecting this. I canceled a few of my pilgrimages, pretty much right away because they were in the spring. But I did not cancel like summer and fall trips because I thought that they would happen, and they didn't. So I'm hopeful that things will be better by April. Italy reevaluates, I think, every 2 weeks to see when they're going to open the borders for other countries. Right now, just open to Europe, and if you're on a flight from France, Greece, Croatia, and Malta, you have to be tested at the airport. So it'll be a while. Father Idler says I give him too much credit. I don't think I give him too much credit because after that, going back to the story about when I started with Catholic Traveling, after that 1999, I didn't see Father Idler again for 2 years ago. I'm not doing math, but from 1999 until 2018, almost 20, no, how many years is that? 1999 to 2018?
That's almost
19 years, right?
Yeah, that's almost 20 years, right?
Yeah. I didn't see Father Idler for at least 18 years. Oh, Facebook poor connection. That's working. And I still give him credit, and Father Augustine, both of them, credit for me falling in love with Rome. So I don't think I give him too much credit. He says, of course, the Lord was the most obvious architect. Of course, but he works through people. He worked through you. I don't know what we were talking about before that. You remember? Italian questions. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling. There's a lot of comments today. Do you know 5,000 people watched last week's Tipsy Tuesday? Not live, but like over the week. It's crazy. It's just me talking for an hour. It might be easier if I just answer questions as they pop up, but then that would make the stories kind of choppy. Yeah. Yes, we are at Polese. I am still scrolling. A lot of duplicate questions, so I apologize for the dead air. Patricia says, I heard they love our peanut butter.
That's true.
Italians do love peanut butter, but it's not easy to find and it's expensive. So I did a little grocery store outing a couple weeks ago. One of the grocery stores we go to, they have like a jar of Skippy that's about that big, and it's $7, so €6.
Yeah.
So it's not cheap.
I do like it though.
Which church do we most attend? So the girls, their scout church is kind of behind St. Peter's. That's where we lived when we first moved over. Ambulance, so hold on. So that's where they still go for scouts. But as far as for Mass, we often as a family will go to Santo Spirito, which is the Divine Mercy Shrine here in Rome. That's kind of like our English parish in Rome. And then a lot of times I'll go to the Latin Mass. There's a couple different Latin Masses I like to go to. Right after we moved over, we went to St. Peter's a lot, but that got old going
Waiting in line wasn't very fun.
Yeah, waiting in line. They don't have a fast Mass pass. I keep looking at my watch because Instagram ends at 1 hour. Like they cut me off. Daniel Rabbit asks if you have an embarrassing story about me.
No. Oh.
You do?
Yeah, I do. What about that one time I went to get gelato and you asked for some, I don't know what it was. You asked for Dewey.
So,
Dewey.
what was I trying to say?
You're trying to say Dewey.
I was trying to say
Dewey.
two, just do it. But I said Dewey.
Oh gosh.
I know how to say two. Like I took 2 years of Italian in college. If there's anything I know how to say, it's two, cappuccino.
But he can't say it. He can't.
But I messed up. I said Dewey.
He was very embarrassed.
What about the time with your mom at the market?
Oh, when you told her to say, you told her to say.
She was getting prosciutto or something.
And you asked her.
And she says like, how do I say more? This is like right after we moved
and
over.
it would have been pew, right?
Yeah, pew is more.
Yeah, but you told her to say moi.
Moi. I don't even know what that means. I was like, say moi.
It doesn't mean anything.
And
That's
she turned to the guy. She's like, moi, moi, moi. And the guy's like, what? She brings that up all the time. So yeah, that's probably the most embarrassing story is like my Italian. My Italian skills are not
Oh goodness.
good. Like I get some stuff right, but I panic and I say stuff like Dewey when I'm trying to say two. Or what did I say? I don't know.
What about when you when you said interessante, you said interessanta?
Yeah, I told a waiter at another one of our favorite restaurants that I had just gone to the Holy Land, which is
Interessanta. Except he said interessanta, I think he said.
Yeah.
Which kind of sounds like the word for interesting.
So I said like I just got back from the Holy Land.
He heard, I just got back from interesting.
He was like, interesting? What's interesting? That is embarrassing.
Yeah.
So I see the recommendation to go to Tritone. I've never been to Tritone, so we'll have to check that out. Was it stressful to travel with a toddler? No, but Amelia got sick.
Oh, yeah.
She got sick like
stuff.
right when we moved over. Not when we moved over, when we on that trip. We flew over a few days ahead of the group, and so we had to get some medicine. It wasn't stressful. It was just like as parents, it was like, hope she's okay. But no, it wasn't stressful. She did fine. I've never had kids that, like even on group tours that were like crying or, I mean, she wouldn't have cried, but like babies that were crying or that acted poorly. The kids are very interested. So even like young kids are very interested in what's going on. I keep checking my watch because I want to make sure that Instagram doesn't cut us off. So no, it wasn't stressful at all, but you know, it was the two parents plus my aunt was here and my parents. And that's really why like we did that trip with her, was because so much of my family was traveling. So we had help. But other parents that have traveled with kids, it's not stressful. You just have to like, especially if you're traveling on your own, not with a group, schedule in some downtime, because obviously kids don't want to go to 20 churches a day nonstop. But no, not stressful. What is dating like?
It's not, that's what it is.
Don't ask that. What do you say? Like a lot of Amelia's friends have boyfriends. And Amelia says, what do you say?
15 and I'm busy.
I'm 15 and I'm busy.
It's a quote from a TV show, but that's okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All this time, really?
I thought that was you.
I've taken it on as my line, though.
Is it dangerous living in Rome? No, Rome is very safe. So there's not a lot of violent crime here. Tons of pickpockets. Tons of people begging for money, like professional beggars, but it's safe. I feel completely fine, like with the kids out, walking down the street, with my wife walking around Rome at night, with me out at night. Very safe. So. You missed the sirens. I know, like I do, like on Instagram, I post like the sounds of Rome, and people love the sirens because it's so Roman. Scrolling. And like some of you are commenting on stuff we were talking about a long time ago. We're like 7 minutes. I think I'm going to restart the Instagram in a few minutes.
Wow, is it after party today?
And we'll do a little after party so I can answer your questions. So I do want to say, so last week I started the patrons thing. So if you weren't watching, like you can go to my website and read about it. For months and months and months, people were telling me, actually, like it's been over a year. People were telling me that I should do the Patreon thing, where people kind of like subscribe to my content. And I always said like that wasn't for me because like I give everything away for free, like my guides, my videos, it's all free. So like, why would I do that? But I was finally convinced. And so I reluctantly started the Patreon last week. And I mentioned it on Tipsy Tuesday kind of near the end. And then I didn't say anything else about it. And then I put it on Facebook and Instagram on Saturday. And we've had, like before we started, like over 70 people already have signed up. And I am just like blown away by that.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Shmuel. I wasn't expecting that at all. So I'm really excited. Like for those of you that aren't on Patreon, like pretty much everything is still going to be free because this is evangelization. But I will offer like exclusive content. So next week, next Saturday, I'm doing the first exclusive live event, which will be kind of my Vatican Museums tour after hours. So it'll be an evening in the Vatican Museums on Saturday. So if you're interested, you can sign up. The lowest tier is $5 a month. And you could just like sign up for 1 month, I don't know, and watch it. But really it's just for me to offer like additional content. And I haven't had work. I mean, this is like tours and pilgrimage, that's my business. And I haven't had any of that since February, except for a priest. I had a priest friend who's leaving to go back to New York in a couple weeks. But yeah, he's been my only day pilgrimage I've had since February. So it's good to have some income, but really it's just that, you know, as patrons, if you sign up for the patron program, you can kind of tell me what to do. Like, I want to see this, I want you to do this, and I'll do that. So I'll share content that you want. And I was really surprised. I've had a lot of people that I know that have been on my pilgrimages or that I know personally that have signed up, but so far, most of the people have been people that I've never met. And it's kind of humbling and awesome. So I'm really excited about that. All right, on Instagram. So Facebook, you're fine because I don't think you end at 1 hour. But Instagram, I'm going to stop and restart. Oh, Father Either mentioned Ethiopic, right? The problem with Instagram, which I hate, Father Either says say Patreon like I say do it.
That's true. I do.
How do you say it?
I think it's a long A, like like
Patreon?
A patron?
Well, it's patron, but it's...
Patreon, right?
I've heard it both ways.
Do we?
I don't know.
I've also
Like,
heard with it.
why do they name their program Patreon? I don't know. I don't know. All right, if you're on Instagram, I'm going to stop and start. Oh,
That's it.
I was about to stop the wrong one. I'm going to stop and start, and then we'll like kind of wrap it up with some more questions. This will be the after party. That's another thing I'm going to do on Patreon, or is that how I say it?
Patreon.
Patreon?
Yes.
I don't know. Patreon sounds more like fancy.
I'm sorry.
All right, I'm going to stop the Instagram, and I'll start it back. So if you want to jump back on, you can. Otherwise, it cuts us off at 1 hour, and we lose everything. So blame Instagram. But I'm going to stop and start. If you're on Facebook, Father Either says Patreon. I'm going to end.
Wait, you're saving it tonight?
Yeah, will it not save?
I don't have that kind of storage.
Well, I'll share it.
Goodness, you're gonna be
Oh, but like the Facebook people still hear us. I just stopped the Instagram because they have a 1 hour limit. And once I hit 1 hour, it automatically ends.
You might explode my phone doing that.
And so, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the other phone for a second.
It's okay, I'll let you take it. Hi guys.
Yeah, you talk. You talk to them
I
so
don't
I
know
can,
what to say.
because I have to stop, download, and then restart. Talk. Tell them a
He's
story.
using my phone, so he might take up all the storage, and I'll be upset if he does. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I'm using Amelia's phone, and like it's.
Dude, you want me to do it? You just wrote Timothy instead of Tipsy Tuesday.
It's your phone because it's in a tripod, and it's.
Can I do it?
Well, no, because I'll have to set everything up. If you're just joining us,
Yeah.
we're at
Instagram people are weird.
Polese, and so I'm typing and talking at the same time. Okay, it's saved.
Okay.
I'm going to restart the Instagram. So we're at Polese, one of our favorite restaurants. We're here all the time. Like I bring my groups here, I bring my day tours here, I bring my family here. When pandemics aren't on, like we haven't been here as much as we used to come, just because we don't go out to eat as much. But a lot of times we're here like several times a week. And anyway, so our setup is her phone, I logged into my Instagram, and then my phone I'm logged into Facebook, and everything's set up on a tripod, and
It's a very confusing situation.
they have mics coming out of them, like wired mics, and because I didn't want to like be looking down, because that's not the best angle. So we're back live on Instagram. Because I didn't want to look down, Paolo Polese, the owner, brought out a wine crate. So we look crazy, like there are people. We have a wine crate, a wine crate on our table, and tripods on top of it, with cords coming out, and it's us talking to you and drinking a drink. So on Instagram, welcome back. This is Tipsy Tuesday, Part 2, the after party. Amelia, you can answer some of these questions. They're questions to you.
Right, okay. I don't know any jokes in Italian, sorry. I really don't. My friends aren't funny.
So let's see. Father Either says yes, we can talk without the Instagram people,
Instagram people are weird.
but they're back. They're already back, and there's already more of them than there are of you. Or close.
My favorite Italian pasta dish is Polese for sure.
Bolognese. I don't love red sauces. I love white sauces. No grazie.
I like red sauce is better. Meat's good.
Well, there's meat in carbonara. It's the same meat.
It's not. It's different. It's different.
Okay. My dad's back. My dad's on Facebook now. He was on Instagram. I see more people jumping on Instagram. So for those of you on Instagram that are just joining, we already did a whole hour of Tipsy Tuesday from Polese. I'm drinking an Aperol Spritz.
I'm drinking Fanta.
Amelia's drinking a Fanta. And so for this Tipsy Tuesday, I wanted to have my kid. I'm still planning to do a family Tipsy Tuesday with both kids and my wife. But today it's just
Me.
Amelia.
Yeah, just me.
She's the least shy.
That's true. It's probably true.
Kevin, remember Kevin? He was on our Jordan Holy Land trip.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I did like the camel ride. I wish I could do that again. Like, I hope I can one day.
The camel ride.
That was so fun.
Yes.
It was scary, but it was a lot of fun.
So I do pilgrimages to the Holy Land in Jordan, and so Kevin, he was on our Jordan trip. He's asking about Amelia's
Camel
favorite
ride.
part, the camel ride, Petra. Well, you didn't like Petra. You were sick
No,
that
I
day.
did not like Petra at all.
I was.
The Bedouins was cool.
Yeah, I love Petra and I love the Wadi Rum Desert, and so I've been many times, but I took my family for the first time in October, and so of course I was most excited about Petra and the Wadi Rum for them, and Amelia was sick all day, like vomiting, throwing up on the bus,
It was not a fun day.
throwing up in Petra. It was not a good day for Amelia,
Not at all.
which made it a bad day for all of us.
I did enjoy it though. It might not have seemed like it. I did like it. I did appreciate seeing stuff.
Yeah, we got some good pictures, but it wasn't what I had hoped. So,
That just means we have to go back.
yeah, so the camel ride in the Jordanian desert is a lot of fun. The not our guide, but so when we go to the Wadi Rum Desert, we stay in tents, like tents in quotes, because it's like a luxurious tent with running water and showers and beds with canopies and stuff.
That was so nice.
But you're in the middle of nowhere. Like there's no Wi-Fi,
No phone service.
no cell service, and so part of the experience is for those that want, we do a camel ride in the desert, and I've done it quite a few times. But this particular time, the camel guy that came out, he wanted to like rip people off. He was trying to charge, I don't even know what it was, like $100 a camel. And so I was like, no. And so we found another guy that would do it like as we started driving back into civilization. So we were a little closer to like the cars and stuff. But it was an awesome experience. I love, like if you can go on a trip to the Holy Land, it's amazing. But if you can include Jordan, it's not as like holy. I mean, there's holy stuff that happened in Jordan because that's where a lot of Old Testament stuff happened. But it's like highlight type stuff. So we are now answering questions, looking at questions. I see people from California. Oh, Mimi's talking about the Bedouin tents. Yeah. Did you take a saint's name for confirmation?
I wanted to, but I'm not confirmed yet. I'm supposed to get confirmed. I was supposed to get confirmed this year, but I still don't know if I will.
Technically, you're supposed to get confirmed a few years ago.
Well, that's true, but according to the classes that I took a few years late, I was supposed to get confirmed in October, but I don't think I will yet. I was going to do Saint Gemma, but I don't think Italians do confirmation saints because nobody has ever heard of them before. Like, not even my teachers and stuff, so.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's an American thing.
I think it's because almost all Italians already have a saint name as their actual name, so I think that's why.
Yeah, there's not a lot of mountains in Italy. But her baptism name is Catherine.
Yeah.
So we did that. And Catherine's buried here, so we get to go see her on her feast day. Okay, so we're scrolling through comments. For those on Instagram, again, this is like part 2 of Tipsy Tuesday. So it's great to see everyone. My wife says it's part Dewey. Thanks, dear. Who cooks the best pasta? Your mom or in a restaurant?
They're both very good.
So if you've ever traveled with me, you know that my favorite carbonara is from Abruzzi. My wife has perfected that. So
That's true. Hers is really good. Also, amatriciana.
and amatriciana, which that's not my favorite. I would
And
never.
ragu, but she never makes it.
I would never
so-
order amatriciana like in a restaurant, but my wife's is very good. It's as good as you can get in a restaurant. I see Joni's here, my good friend Joni, Monica. It's good to see, like, so many people came back. Oh, that's how Fanta looks. So yeah, we mentioned this in part 1, that in Europe they don't, or in Italy at least, they don't have the, they don't use as many chemicals and artificial dyes, and so this is Fanta. So it doesn't look like bright orange, but the Aperol Spritz kind of does. What about the beaches? We have sandy beaches.
Yeah. There's-
Not as fine as like I don't know, the Gulf of Mexico,
Yeah, that's nice.
but
We've already read them.
they're fine. You already read all of this?
Yeah, we got to there.
Oh.
Yeah. I scrolled up.
Still going through the
Now scroll down.
comments. Do we ever rent a car? No, I have never driven in Italy. It's something we thought about doing soon, but I haven't until this point rented a car. We just take the trains everywhere, and usually, like, I have groups, and so I have a private bus that takes us wherever we need to go. Emily says, "Do we wish we had Chick-fil-A?"
I could do with Chick-fil-A here.
I could definitely
I
go
could. That'd be
for
nice.
Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
Yeah.
We-
That'd be nice. I would like that.
Just within the last couple of years, we had a Tex-Mex restaurant open up. And so that's kind of, like, the thing I've always missed is burritos, Tex-Mex. And now we have a place that helps with that. Let's see. Hi, Donna. How are you? They don't do confirmation saints in the Philippines.
It might just be American thing.
Maybe it is an American thing. I don't know.
I don't know. Don't ask me.
Jerry says, "Who makes tiramisu?" Nobody in our family.
Yeah. I could. I really could probably do it.
Father Arthur says Amelia is an 8th century Belgian saint. He would know.
That's good to know. Good to know.
Do I know Christopher Wells? Nope. I don't know who that is. Where was I when I saw the Dr. Pepper? So yeah, the other day I posted, there's this, it's called the bakery. No, it's not the bakery house. Home Baked.
Yeah.
There's
I
also a
guess
bakery house. There's a restaurant called Home Baked. It's right by St. Peter's, and they do an American breakfast, and they have like nachos and stuff like that. And I posted a picture of Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper. So that's not something you find often in Rome. There's a few places you can find it. Not Mountain Dew. I've never seen Mountain Dew. But yeah, it's a place called Home Baked, and that's a place where you can get waffles and pancakes and French toast. So we went there for breakfast after Mass the other day. Judy says, "What's your favorite gelato flavor?"
That's a hard one. Probably chocolate orange. I like that a lot. That's good. If not, a fruity flavor.
My standard was like, the way I would judge gelato places was chocolate and coffee. But a lot of the places we go to, they're very seasonal. So they're always going to have like chocolate and coffee. But I try to stick with whatever is in season, unless I'm just really craving chocolate and coffee. Jerry says, "Where do we get our favorite pizza?" This place. Polese is one of our favorite pizza places. We like Roman style for the most part.
Yeah. Pretty good.
But and the other place we go a lot is Pizza Island. Like, how do you say it in Italian?
Isola della Pizza.
Yeah, the real name's not Pizza Island. It's just the translation.
Yeah.
So that's the place we go. That's also Venus Williams. Do you know who that is? Venus Williams, professional tennis player. She's here in Rome right now, and that's her favorite restaurant. So she goes there anytime she's in Rome. She was there yesterday. That's a great place for pizza. During the quarantine, though, so we were locked up for 55 days. Restaurants were closed. Some did delivery. But one of the first places that reopened near us for takeout was Amalfi Pizza, and they do Naples style pizza.
That's really good.
It's really good. Yeah, we like Naples style pizza too. That has the thicker crust, and we went there. We went to Naples a few years ago, and there was this restaurant. You want to tell us the story?
Well, I don't really remember.
I'm doing all the
actually.
talking.
Go ahead and talk. There
Go
was
ahead.
like a really long line or something, right? We had to wait like forever, but then we ended up getting it takeout because we didn't have any more time, so we just like sat down in a square and ripped it apart with our bare hands and ate it like a bunch of cavemen, pretty much.
Yeah,
It was
so
a good day.
I mean, you can ask for pizza to be sliced, but usually in Rome, one person eats one pizza. And so when we got it to go, I didn't even think about. We waited 3 hours, I
Yeah,
think,
we waited a long time
for this pizza. And so we didn't ask for it to be sliced because we were so hungry. And they just, gave us 4 pizzas. And so we went and sat in a little piazza near the pizza place. And like Neanderthals,
Just ate the pizza.
we just we're
ripped it
starving.
apart.
We're just tearing the pizza and stuffing our face. So
It was
it was the best pizza I'd ever had, to be honest.
was
But maybe
fun.
that's because it took 3 hours to get it. Father either says very ecumenical with us. Where do you want to go to college?
I have no idea. I still have a few years to think about that, so
Not many.
I'll figure it out eventually.
So let's see. A pizza place on Borgo Pio. Yeah, there's a lot of good restaurants on Borgo Pio, and also a lot of bad ones because they get a lot of tourists. But you can definitely get some good food on Borgo Pio. All right, so hour and 15 minutes.
Fantastic.
Maybe we should wrap it up. I think we've gotten most of the questions done. Oh, in Australia, it's 4 a.m.
Wow, impressive.
Wow. Are you waking up or going to sleep? Do I only stand about half of what Italians say? Probably less.
It's hard. It's not easy. You have to concentrate.
She understands everything.
Well, most of the time. When you get the fast talkers, no. It's very confusing.
Okay, so we're going to start wrapping it up. I see some people asking. So where we are, we're at Polese, drinking Aperol Spritz and Fanta. Cheers. Guy's trying to sell us flowers. What's the name of this piazza? Sforza Cesarea, I think.
I have no idea.
I can't remember. It's Polese. There's only one Polese here.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yes, and Annie says
that was it.
Sorbio. Yeah, that's where we waited 3 hours for pizza. It was. Father Idler says, "Do you speak Roman?"
I try.
She speaks Roman. She gave us an Italian lesson today, and she got mad because we tried to speak Italian instead of Roman.
Yeah,
Hi, Kathleen.
It's confusing for me.
Yeah. So yes, Sorbia, that's where we waited 3 hours, and we didn't realize that you could get it to go, or I would have done that to begin with. So that was a rookie mistake, I guess. Because the next time, it just happened to Facebook, no Instagram.
You just focused it weird.
The next time we went to Naples, we knew to order it to go and then just go to a piazza. How do you spell Polese? It's P-O-L...
Polese, I think.
This is it. I don't know if that's backwards. That might be backwards. But this is Polese for those who are interested. Okay, so I guess we should be done. We haven't had dinner yet.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get pizza to go or something. Gloria says, do you do the gestures? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amelia does like the head things and the...
Oh yeah, I do, don't I?
and the hand gestures.
Yes.
Yeah. My dad says Lucretia Borgia lived in this piazza. Yeah, she lived right here.
That's true.
So if you know your papal history, Lucretia Borgia lived here. And now you can get pizza here. Oh, Bellaroma got it right. That's the right name. Scrolling through. Amanda misses Polese. Polese misses Amanda. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Unless you have any more questions.
Yeah, 5
Last
seconds.
chance. Does my family have Italian ancestry? No. We're not Italian at all.
No.
My dad's side's Croatian. My mom's side is Scottish, maybe, I think. My wife is Cuban. I guess I should mention that.
Yeah. Colorful.
I forget you're here sometimes.
That's concerning.
Amelia plays guitar, ukulele. Pizzeria Matteo is the best. I'll have to give that a try next time. All right, so we're gonna go. We're gonna get some food.
It's a good idea.
And thanks all for joining. For those of you that signed up for the patrons, thank you for that. That was very humbling and a shock, really. But I'm super excited about what all is going to come from that. It gives me the opportunity to evangelize even more. So I think it'll be great. Probably should have started it sooner. Like everybody said I should have. But we're there now. So we're going to go. We're going to get some pizza. Say ciao or something.
Ciao.
Thanks for watching. And, well, I will talk to you next week. I don't know if she'll be here. I will talk to you next week. My wife's from Tampa. Her parents are from Havana and Camagüey. Yeah, Camagüey.
I don't actually.
No, I know.
Okay.
It just took me a minute.
I wasn't sure.
Because I've had 2 Aperol
I've had
spritzes.
fan fries.
Yeah. So, ciao. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next week, if not sooner.